What have we learned from the Ocean Race 2025 now that the offshore section is behind us? Here are my thoughts. First of all, Biotherm deserves this win. Paul has built a fast boat, but he's also built an incredibly fast team. And this is an equipment sport. So of course, boat design matters, sail choice matters, but crucially, it's about the sailors that you put on board. The skill of the sailors and how well they work together makes or breaks any result. What exactly it was that Paul did to create that atmosphere of trust, of confidence, and also the desire to excel, to push hard through every single day and night, that will be up for debate. But it has given this team the ability to make really smart decisions, not desperate ones. Every single team member that he has brought in has been taking turns on the helm, on the sail trim, and on the navigation. Long-time co-skipper Amelie Grassi has been a really important part of that, but everybody else has been expected and capable of stepping up and leading and making decisions when it counts. Biotherm is a team with a lot of chiefs, but Paul has been able to get all those people to work as one. The Med has delivered extremes. It's always been hard to know exactly what you need to take on board for an offshore leg, to know exactly what equipment it's worth taking, because the more that you take, the heavier your boat becomes and it starts to drag its feet. So the sail choice, the equipment, the food on board has to be carefully considered. Well, how do you do that? Well, you take a look at the forecast and you see what kind of race lies ahead of you. But for this Ocean Race Europe 2025, racing in the Mediterranean, we have seen it all, from 50-knot squalls underneath thunderclouds that have knocked the fleet sideways, to, on the same leg, drifting through the fog, making zero progress. But we will be back racing in these waters again for the Ocean Race 2027. And you know that the Mediterranean is going to have plenty of surprises for our sailors. Autopilots are not better than humans. In the last edition of the Ocean Race, we saw the sailors more often than not using the autopilot system, with one crew member sitting there and maybe nudging the computer brain back onto an optimum course, but ultimately allowing the software code to concentrate and make those decisions in the moment. But for the Ocean Race Europe, we saw the sailors decide that actually putting a human hand on the tiller was better, and they did it whenever they could. If you have a crew around you, a good group of skilled sailors, it seems it's better to put one on the tiller, steering, and one on the trim, with the two working together and parking the autopilot for the moment. But the Ocean Race Europe, the offshore legs, they are not as long as the Ocean Race round the world, and perhaps not even as long as the Ocean Race Atlantic coming up in 2026. Will we see the teams shunning the autopilot as they've done here? You have to be an all-rounder. There's never been a place for passengers in the Ocean Race, but specialists were welcome. However, now on the IMOCAs, that is a thing of the past. You have to be equally happy on deck, changing sails, as you are working down below on the winches, taking a turn on the navigation, helming the boat, and of course having the physical power to deliver all that as the miles tick down. We've gone from having 8 people on board in 2017-18 to having 4 sailors on a fully crewed IMOCA. That means that every single sailor on board needs to have at least the skill set of 2 people from the races past. And you've got to be able to do that better than some of the world's best. If you want to get a place on this race, you cannot be a one-trick pony. What will be the future for boat design? For the Ocean Race Europe, and the Ocean Race Atlantic coming up next summer, a specialised boat is not going to win. These IMOCAs are not just sailing the Vendée course anymore. They're not just going downwind with the wind at their side. Now, they're crashing through big waves, but also they're trying to slip through the light airs. They've got to be powerful with the wind at their back, but equally efficient while they're cutting into the weather that's in front of them. A winning boat must be versatile, comfortable for the crew. It needs to be lightweight, yet strong and reliable. And perhaps Biotherm has got the right combination. A 5th place in the Vendée Globe for Paul Mayer on board his boat, and now fully crewed, winning the Ocean Race Europe. But in the next year, we are going to see many new IMOCAs from the designing table to the boatyard and then finally launched on the water. We've got Boris Herrmann from Team Malizia, Sebastian Simon, Thomas Riat, and Johan Richomme, just to name but a few. But for now, we have one more challenge in this edition. The Boka Bay Coastal Race on the 20th of September. While Biotherm's victory is confirmed, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, still to be decided. We'll see you then.